Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Fellowship trick-taking game. Today we are going to be tackling Chapter 6, which is so far the most difficult one. Luckily, we were finally able to get through it. We get to meet an interesting new character, so follow along, hope you enjoy, and let's get on with the game. Chapter 6. On either side ahead, a darkness began to loom through the mist, and he guessed that they were at last approaching the gap in the hills, the north gate of the Barrow-Downs. If they could pass that, they would be free. Chapter 6. Fog on the Barrow-Downs. Characters: Frodo, Tom Bombadil, Goldberry, Sam, Merry, Pippin. Threat: Black Riders 1 through 4. Victory: short, finish all chosen characters. Setup: follow the instructions for the Fog on the Barrow-Downs event on the Barrow-Wights card. Barrow-Wights. When he came to himself again, for a moment he could recall nothing except a sense of dread. Then suddenly he knew that he was imprisoned, caught hopelessly. He was in a barrow. A Barrow-Wight had taken him, and he was probably already under the dreadful spells of the Barrow-Wights about which whispered tales spoke. Fog on the Barrow-Downs event. Setup: set aside the 5 rings cards from the main deck. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal 10 cards for 3 players or 5 cards to 4 players face down into a face down Barrow deck. Then shuffle the rings cards back into the remaining main deck and deal 4 players 8 cards per player. Tom Bombadil draws 5 of the Barrow deck cards to his hand. Alright, so we are pretty much good to start here on Chapter 6. So what I've done so far, as always, we have Frodo ready to go. We have our characters lined up here. Now, I have a deck right here of 5 cards, and this is going to be our Barrow deck. 5 cards because we are going to set it up as if we were playing a 4-player game. And it's guaranteed that there are no rings in the Barrow deck because we took them out before dealing that, and then we shuffled them back in to the main deck. So here we have our main deck. After we deal out the cards, I'll show you how to check that you've set up things correctly. And then we have a couple differences in the rule book for this chapter. So first, we're not going to be dealing a lost card. Again, no lost card for this chapter. Once we do character assignment, Tom Bombadil will draw 5. He'll basically draw the entire Barrow deck since it's only 5 cards. And then finally, we're going to introduce a new character in a moment. During her setup, we're going to deal her an additional 4 cards, and then she's not going to be dealt any more cards throughout the rest of the round. So we'll get there, but let's go ahead and introduce that new character. So for Chapter 6, we have Goldberry, River's daughter. WinCon: win exactly 3 tricks in a row and no more. Setup: place your hand face up on the table for the whole round. Players may discuss your hand. So for Goldberry, when you're playing solo, again, this is in the rule book, the differences here are as follows. Her normal setup is to place her hand face up on the table because remember, if you're playing with 4 people, you don't show your hands to your teammates. Since we're playing solo, all of the hands are already visible. So for solo mode, her setup in the rule book is a little different. Basically, she'll have 4 cards like everyone else to start. And then during her setup, she'll be dealt an additional 4 cards from the main deck. And then she won't be dealt any more cards for the remainder of the chapter. Her WinCon: win exactly 3 tricks in a row and no more. So that kind of means 2 things. It means that she has to win exactly 3 in a row. For example, she can't win 4 in a row. But again, according to the rules, she actually cannot win more than 3 tricks. So it's a little weird with the wording there, but basically she has to win exactly 3 tricks and it has to be done in a row. So little tough there. All right, but otherwise we have everything we need to set up. So let's go ahead and deal out our cards for Chapter 6. All right, let's go ahead and deal out our cards to see what we'll be working with. So again, no lost card for Chapter 6, and we're going to start by dealing out cards as we normally would, as we normally have been. So I will say, as I'm dealing these cards, Chapter 6 is pretty challenging. I have already lost at it twice. Now, I kind of have a rule on this channel that I don't upload lost attempts, only because when you're playing a game like this, you have no idea how many times you might lose a certain chapter or quest or whatever. And so you know, if you have no idea, then I don't want to release 10 videos that are all failed attempts. All right, so a little check here after we've dealt out these cards. Again, no lost card. Our 5-card Barrow White deck is right here. There's no rings in it. We should have 16 cards left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And now we can go on with character assignment. So remember, Tom, he wants to finish the game, and he wants to have 3 of the same type of card in his hand that he finishes with. And as I look at this, I already see that this hand here has 4 forest cards, and that is a pretty good chance of winning. So let's go ahead, and at the same time, we could possibly give that to Goldberry and then have Tom. See, this gets challenging because Goldberry, she could start by just, she can't exchange with Frodo. So I think what I'm going to do is let's put Tom here. Now, Goldberry wants to win 3 tricks in a row, and that's kind of, she is going to get dealt an additional 4 cards, but there's not a lot of great stuff going on here. There's 1/8 that she could win with, but this hand is a lot stronger. So this is a little tricky. She's got to have a guaranteed 8. So even though this hand has 2 1s, which makes me really nervous, let's give Goldberry this hand here. And I think, I've tried this both with Sam and Mary, and I've lost. So I'm going to try Pippin here. I'm going to try going with Pippin and just having him win basically 0 tricks. And we're going to give it a shot. So now we go to setup. So Frodo's good to go. Then we're going to go to Tom Bombadil, and he's going to get dealt all 5 cards from the Barrow White deck. So there's a mountain, a shadow, another forest. We don't want him to have too many forests because he's got to win some, and a mountain, so that's good. And in this chapter, the board's going to get pretty crowded because of all this setup. Pippin is just to do an exchange, and then Goldberry's setup, according to the rules for this chapter, is to deal her an additional 4 cards from the main deck, and then she doesn't get dealt any other cards for the rest of the chapter. So she's going to get a 2 of Shadow, a 5 of Forest, a 4 of Forest, and a 6 of Shadow. So as we go, you're just going to have to remember that Tom's hand goes out and up, and Goldberry's hand goes out and up under Tom's hand. And now we have to do 1 exchange. And as I look at my board here, I think I want Frodo to be able to win some hands here. So, but I'm kind of tempted to maybe start right off the bat with, because now if I look at Goldberry's hand, she has a 8, a 6, and a 5 are her biggest cards, which is not, it's not that good in my opinion. So I'm going to do an exchange with Tom and Frodo. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Tom my biggest hill, and then I'm actually going to give Frodo just a 2 of hill. And we're going to pretty much try to knock Tom Bombadil's win con out right away, because he's definitely going to end with a hill. He has most of the hills, forest. So Tom has most of the forest, so we're going to try to make him win 3 forest on the first turn, and then we can just not worry about him. So there you go. We have our now 12-card main deck. Tom was dealt the Barrow White deck. Goldberry has 4 additional cards, and we will not give her one after each trick. And everyone else is good to go. So let's just try it because like I said, I've lost this twice. It's a lot to keep track of. So we are going to, I'm going to play usually I play trick cards over here. I'm going to do it this way since we have kind of a big board state here. Frodo's going to lead with the 2 of forests. Tom, he can pretty much just play it safe. He's going to lead with the 3 of forests. And yeah, and then I might start getting some rings out of the way. So he's going to play the 3. Pippin does not have a forest, and we don't want to yet get rid of this ring card. So let's just get rid of Pippin's highest card since we don't want him winning tricks. And then Goldberry has a 1 and a 5. I need her to lose this trick and keep a high card out. So let's go ahead and play the 1. So Tom will win this trick, and we're clearly going for forests here. So we can't yet put his win con up, but we can pretty much assume Tom has won 3 forests, and we're gonna try to make sure he ends the game with a forest card. So Tom wins that trick. We're gonna deal out our new cards, and remember Goldberry is not going to get one. So Frodo, Tom, Pippin. And as Goldberry reduces her cards, I'm going to just kind of slide these over so that we can clear up our board state a little bit. So Tom will win this trick. We can kind of assume Tom is good for now, so we got to start working on everyone else. We can either start trying to give Frodo rings, or we can start working on Goldberry. I think let's start working on the rings, because if I look at what's out here now, Goldberry could play, basically I want to get rid of Goldberry's low cards. She has an 8, a 6, and a 5. Right now she does not have the biggest shadow card. She has a 6 and would possibly lose to Frodo. She does have the biggest hill card, and when it comes to forests, we could do her first and then focus on Frodo. Which might be the call. That might be. So it's either start with Frodo or start with Goldberry. If I go with Frodo and Tom's leading, I could play the 7 of shadow. Then Goldberry would have the highest shadow on, besides Frodo's 8, but he could play the 7. Merry could play a ring just to get rings playable. Goldberry could play a 1, and then Frodo could play his 8. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's good, because then we can get rid of the 2 highest shadow cards, and then Goldberry will guarantee... Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. So Tom's going to lead. Tom's going to lead with the 7 of shadows. Pippin doesn't have a shadow, and we're going to have Frodo win this one. So Pippin is going... Oh, sorry. This is Tom's card. So Tom's going to play the 7 of shadow. Pippin's going to play the 3 of rings, so rings are now leadable. And Goldberry, let's just get rid of her lowest card, because we're going to want her to start winning soon. We'll get rid of her 1 of shadow, and then we're going to get rid of Frodo's 8 of shadow. That way now, Goldberry has the highest shadow on board, she has the highest hill on board, and she has a forest that's higher than Tom, so she could win that one. So I think that's good. Let's go with that. So Frodo's gonna win this trick. God, there's so many cards to keep track of here. Frodo's gonna win this trick, and he's gonna get his first ring. All right, and Frodo won, so we'll put that there. Okay, we'll deal out our new cards. So Frodo's getting the 1 of hills, Tom is getting the 3 of hills, and Pippin is getting the 7 of hills. And Goldberry does not get dealt a card. We have like 6 left up there, so I think we're good. All right, so now Frodo's gonna lead. There's still a couple rings not out, and Frodo needs to win rings, so we gotta be careful there. I think what we can do is... So if Frodo leads with shadow, Goldberry will win, and then we just gotta keep her winning. If he plays a mountain, then Pippin will win. And if he plays a hill, then Goldberry will win. So I don't think it matters too much there. So let's have Frodo play the 3 of shadow. Tom will play the 5 of shadow. Pippin doesn't have a shadow, so let's just get rid of his highest card. And then Goldberry will play the 6 of shadow, and Goldberry will win that trick. So we are now officially on Goldberry's path. If we don't do it, then we lose again. So Goldberry wins that trick. She has to win 2 more in a row and then no more. So here's Goldberry's cards. We'll deal out our next hand. So Frodo's going to get a 7 of mountains. Tom will get a 3. And Pippin will get a 6. Okay, so now if Goldberry plays the 5 of forests, Tom can play his 4 of forests, and Goldberry will still win and then can play the 8. Or she could play the 8 and then the 5. But let's do that because we can, yeah, it's guaranteed. So, making sure. All right, yeah, I think that's our move. So Goldberry will lead with the 5 of forests. Frodo doesn't have a forest, so let's just get rid of his 1 of hills. I don't know if it matters what one we get rid of there. 1 of hills. Tom has to play a forest, and we need Goldberry to win, so he'll play his 4 of forest, which is his lowest one. And Pippin does not have one, so let's again get rid of his highest card. So Goldberry will win that trick off of the 5 of forests. That's now 2 tricks in a row, and we're now going to deal out our final hand of cards. So Frodo will get the 5, that's good. Frodo will get the 5 of rings, Tom will get the 4 of shadow, and Pippin will get the 2 of rings. Oh my gosh, I think I'm finally going to beat this. So Goldberry leads. We need her to win this trick, so Goldberry will play the 8 of hills. Frodo has nothing, so let's just get rid of his low card, which is the 1. Tom has the 3 of hills, so he'll play the 3. Right? And then Pippin will get rid of his highest card, which is a hill, so he'll play the 5. So Goldberry will win that trick. So that is now 3 tricks in a row for Goldberry. There's no more cards left to be dealt, and there are 3 more hands to play. So we need to have Frodo start winning rings, and I think we're going to be fine. So, all right, what can we do here? We can basically, if I play shadows, then we can get a ring from Pippin. That's good. If I play, yeah, I think we want to go shadows here. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm going to start playing this way now. So Goldberry will lead with the 2 of shadow. And Frodo does not have a shadow, so he'll play his trump card. Tom has a 4 of shadow. I'm going to stack them up like this. And Pippin doesn't have a shadow, so Pippin will play the 2 of shadow. So normally, Tom would have won that, but Frodo's going to use his trump card. So Frodo will win 2 more rings. The ring here will go to Frodo. That's his second trick. And now I think, oh my gosh, I think I have finally beaten this chapter because we only have 2 more hands to play. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll stack Tom's cards like that. So now Frodo leads. Frodo will, rings have been playable. Frodo will play the 5 of rings. Tom will play the 4 of rings. Pippin doesn't have one, so he'll play the 5 of mountains. And then all we need to do is make sure that Goldberry doesn't win this last trick. It's going to be led with a mountain, so let's just get rid of her mountain. Frodo wins with the 5 of rings. So look at that. Frodo won all 5 rings. So Frodo's win con is now satisfied. Oh my gosh, this is like such a good feeling to have finally did this. And then Frodo will lead with the 7 of mountains. Tom will just go ahead and play his 8. Pippin will play a 2 of hills. And Goldberry will play a 4 of hills. Tom will win that trick. And now Tom finishes with 5 cards because he was dealt the Barrow-White deck. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if we go through our board state, Frodo won 4 or more rings. He's good. Tom won 3 forests, and there is a forest in the cards left over at the end of the round in his hand. So Tom's win con is satisfied. Pippin won 0 tricks, which is the fewest. So Pippin's win con is satisfied. And Goldberry won only 3 tricks, and they were all done in a row. Oh my gosh, that is the most satisfying chapter win I've had so far. That was difficult. Yeah, I tried to be very vocal this time to make sure I wasn't missing any rules. That felt really good. That was a solid victory. All right, guys, there you have it. That was chapter 6. Hope you enjoyed. That was a pretty tough one. As always, like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the game and the gameplay and everything down in the comments below. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video where we take on chapter 7.